Hello again, everyone. It's Dwayne. It's Wednesday night. It's time for the midweek edition of One Man's Opinion. Trying a little experiment tonight. Believe it or not, for a 15-minute show, it usually takes about 2 hours to process it and get it out to Facebook. Whether I put it on Facebook directly or YouTube, it does not matter because the audio and video take so long to process. So tonight I'm just doing an audio only. Of course, there will be some video on the screen. I'm going to put up some statistics and things of that nature. But basically, it's just going to be the logo up there for most of the time. And I'm going to see how long it takes to process this. If it takes a lot less, then this is how I'm going to do it from now on. And I'm sure you're not going to miss my ugly mug anyway. Okay, let's jump right into it. Last night, the mini Super Tuesday, we had Florida, Illinois, North Carolina, Missouri, and Ohio. And it was a very, very interesting evening. In fact, one of them carried out into earlier today. First of all, big props to John Kasich, who actually won Ohio. I was thinking Trump was going to come in and take it away from him, but apparently I was wrong there. People like Kasich in Ohio. I don't know why, but they do. In Ohio, John Kasich took 46.8% of the vote. Donald Trump, though, came in with 35.6% of the vote. Ted Cruz took 13.1%, and Marco Rubio took 2.9%. Marco Rubio had a very bad night last night. In Florida, the other winner-take-all delegate state, as Ohio was, Donald Trump took 45.7% of the vote to Rubio's 27%. He doubled Marco Rubio's vote in Rubio's home state. Ted Cruz came in a distant third at 17.1%, and Kasich brought up the rear with 6.8% of the vote. So Kasich in Ohio won 66 winner-take-all delegates, and Trump in Florida won 99 winner-take-all delegates. Let's jump to Illinois. Interesting night there. Donald Trump took 20.3% of the vote to Ted Cruz's 15.9% of the vote. Less than 4% difference between those two. Kasich came in third with 10.3%. Marco Rubio a distant fourth at 4.5%. In North Carolina, pretty much the same deal. Trump took 40.2% to Cruz's 36.8%. Kasich came in third with 12.7%, and Rubio took 7.7% in North Carolina. Missouri, this was the one that they finally called earlier today. It was so close. Donald Trump won 40.9% to Cruz's 40.7%. Kasich came in third with 9.9% and Rubio with 6.1%. Because of the routing that Rubio took last night, especially in Florida, he suspended his campaign. He still retains his delegates. Rubio is going to try to play kingmaker somewhere down the line towards the convention. Maybe a vice presidential bid or something like that. We'll see. All right. So, like I said, Kasich picked up 66 in Ohio, and Trump got 99 of the winner-take-all delegates in Florida. So now the delegate count is starting to look a whole lot better for Donald Trump. He has 673 delegates right now to Ted Cruz's 411. Kasich has 143 because of last night. Marco Rubio, like I said, he's going to retain that 169 delegates that he has. I guess he's going to try to figure out a way to be relevant when it comes convention time. Okay, over to the Democrats. Last night was an interesting night in Ohio. Clinton took Ohio 56.5 to 42.7% over Bernie Sanders. In Florida, it's actually a little worse for Sanders. Clinton took 64.4% to Sanders 33 and a third. In North Carolina, Sanders trailed Clinton. Clinton had 54.6%. Sanders had 40.8%. And in Missouri and in Illinois was a little bit different story. Let's go to Illinois first. I'm going to give you the vote count here. 1,007,382 votes for Hillary Clinton. 971,555 for Bernie Sanders. That is less than 1% difference. And in Missouri, the vote count was 310,602 for Clinton, 309,071 votes for Bernie Sanders. That was 2 points difference, 49.6 to 49.4%. Those two states, I think, scared Hillary a little bit, but in the end, she came out okay. Clinton now has 1,606 delegates to Bernie Sanders' 851. So Clinton is basically double what Bernie Sanders is as far as delegate count is concerned. We're going to talk about that the conventions here in just a minute. Today, President Obama, oh God, I gag every time I say that, nominated an anti-Second Amendment Supreme Court nominee by the name of Merrick Garland. Now, apparently he's a nice guy. Everybody in Washington likes him. You know, he's a pretty fair guy, according to what I've heard, except for the fact that he is very anti-Second Amendment. No surprises that Obama would try to slip someone in like that. Now, the Democrats are saying, well, they've got to vote on it. They got to vote on it. Well, McConnell is invoking the Biden rule. When George W. Bush, his last year in office, was trying to nominate a Supreme Court nominee, Joe Biden went before the Senate and said, not only no, but hell no, not in an election year, not with a lame duck president like George W. Bush. So McConnell hopefully will stand up and do this and continue to do it and tell Biden and Chuck Schumer and the rest of them to go F themselves because he's going to give them a piece of their own medicine. Okay. In other news, there was supposed to be a number 13 in the series of Get Donald debates take place in Utah. And Donald Trump told Fox News who was going to hold the debate basically to shove it. He flew them the big middle finger, the international weather gesture, as I call it. Told them that it was pointless to have another debate, especially with the same moderators asking pretty much the same questions over and over again. And because John Kasich heard about that, he said, well, if there's no Trump, there's no Kasich in the debate. And Ted Cruz just flat out refused to debate himself in Utah. I wonder what he's afraid of. So there won't be any more debates, at least for a while. I think until we get closer to the convention, then we might start seeing some debates, especially if it's two-man race like it's supposed to be, Donald Trump and Ted Cruz. I don't look for Kasich to stay in the race too much longer, but I look for him to suspend his campaign after the next round of votes and hold on to those delegates and try to be a kingmaker just like Rubio's going to try. So, and that's what I want to talk about now is the conventions and the primaries and the caucuses. Ladies and gentlemen, we are being lied to by the elites in both parties. We have seen in the past here where Hillary got superdelegates even when Bernie Sanders won a state, that she actually came out ahead because of the superdelegates. And the reason there are superdelegates is the fact that the DNC don't trust the voters to actually pick the nominee. The DNC wants to pick the nominee themselves. And we're finding that out with the GOP as well, that they could give a damn about the popular vote. Just because Donald Trump is trouncing everybody doesn't mean diddly to them. They will bring in Paul Ryan or Jeb Bush or whoever they want, unless Donald Trump can have the 1237 delegate count necessary. Now, I've drummed this so much that I'm sick of it. If Donald Trump was smart, somewhere before the final debates, he would go to Ted Cruz and say, look, Ted, I know we've got differences, but I would like to have you as my vice presidential running mate. That way we can screw the GOP who's trying to screw us. And if Ted Cruz is smart, he would say, okay. And they would go in with a preponderance of the evidence that the American people distrust the GOP and the DNC, and it's time for the party elites to kiss their asses collectively. Now, whether that happens, I don't know. I'm saying what I've been saying now for weeks. If Trump and Cruz pulled their resources, they would be unstoppable. Not only against Hillary Clinton or whoever else winds up being the nominee on the DNC side, but to the GOP elites as well, because the GOP elites would not have anything they could do except what they're talking about now, either voting for Hillary Clinton outright or forming a third party and running Jeb Bush or Marco Rubio or Paul Ryan or somebody like it to drain votes away from Donald Trump. Hell, they might even bring in Mitt Romney again. Or they could get the Maverick because he's not doing anything else. Yeah, John McCain. No, I don't think that'll happen. He's too old. But, well, Bernie Sanders is 74 and Hillary Clinton's pushing 70, so it's like, they're too old too, but they're still getting it. And everybody bitched when Ronald Reagan won because he was too old. Folks, I'm telling you, the fix is in on both sides. It really is. And we, the people, are being pissed on by the party elites on both sides of the aisle because they don't think we're smart enough. They don't think that we're refined enough. They don't think we're good enough to pick our own nominees. If you listen to the political pundits, the policy wonks out there in either party, that when it comes right down to it, you're not smart enough to wipe your own nose if it's running. That's why Bernie Sanders is running against Hillary Clinton and doing very well in many parts of the country, but Hillary Clinton is pulling ahead because she's getting the superdelegates. And on the GOP side, it doesn't matter who you vote for, they're going to pick the nominee and screw the rest of us. If that's the case, then I'm going to make this prediction. If the GOP does this, the GOP, the Republican Party as we know it, is DOA in November. They will lose the base, they will lose the conservatives, they will lose everybody but the rhinos, and I'm not so sure that some of the rhinos won't evacuate the party as well because they're full of a bunch of frickin' two-faced, Janus-faced idiots. I call a lot of people morons on this show, and the party elites on both sides are morons. We, the people, should be able to decide who our nominees are, not the parties. If you're running for president and you win a preponderance of the evidence as far as the vote is concerned, you should be the nominee. I guess we'll see what happens come convention time. All right. My time is up. I thank you for yours. We will see you again on Sunday. So until then, you guys have a great week. Take care of one another and later.